arguably the greatest dancing team on film. Rita Hayworth and Fred Astaire first danced together on screen in the 1941 film You'll Never Get Rich, directed by Sidney Lanfield. Fred Astaire was aware of Rita Hayworth because he had been in vaudeville with Rita Hayworth's father and aunt, Eduardo and Elisa Cancino, who were known as the Dancing Cancinos. And Fred Astaire was in vaudeville with his sister Adele. Rita later said in an interview that Fred knew what those, quote, dum-dums, unquote, at Columbia didn't know, which is that she could dance. Up until this time, they had just used her in comedies and dramas. And so this gave her a chance to show off her amazing dancing talent. As I mentioned, Sidney Lanfield was the director. The music was by the incredible Cole Porter, and he's shown here on the left with Rita and Lanfield. And the genius Robert Alton staged the major production numbers while Fred Astaire choreographed for the numbers that he did alone and with Rita. In fact, here's a rare photo of a rehearsal. Astaire didn't usually let people photograph his rehearsals. The supporting cast included the inimitable Robert Benchley, who was a member of the Algonquin Round Table in New York, and also the grandfather of Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws. Actress Osa Mawson, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, and not to be confused with Ona Munson, who played Belle Watling in Gone with the Wind, was a supporting actress in this film as well. John Hubbard plays Rita's other love interest, the poor sap who gets thrown over for Fred Astaire. And who can blame her? Look how he's just standing there looking like a big third wheel. Of course, the costumes are my favorite part, and I particularly love costume test shots. And I was able to find some quite rare photos of Rita in the various costumes that she wore. And I love these photos of her from the back. I think those are so fun. They show her beautiful hair. What you really notice, especially in the close-ups of the hats and the makeup, is the heavy makeup needed for film. It's kind of amazing. Here you can see it, the false eyelashes and the very, very heavy pancake makeup, I guess, so that she looks perfect on screen, which she did. Some of the other gorgeous costumes that she wore are this one from the So Near and Yet So Far number. My favorite, this lovely white gown. A few very pretty day dresses. This beautiful dancing dress, and of course, it's always fun to see what they look like in color. The wedding cakewalk wedding dress. The boogie barker roll shorts. The cute country girl costume worn in the dream sequence. And of course, the requisite sexy negligee. When Astaire first met Rita Hayworth, he was surprised at how quiet and shy she was. But as he got to know her and they were working together, he noticed that she learned steps faster than anyone he'd ever worked with. He said that he would teach her the routine before lunch, and after lunch she would have it down to perfection. So she must have thought it all up and worked it all out in her mind while she was eating lunch. He also humorously relayed that when they would rehearse and the cameras weren't on, she was almost a little bit lazy. She just kind of went through the motions, but as soon as the cameras turned on, he said there was more hair and teeth flying around than he'd ever seen in his life. She became so incredibly animated. Of course, during filming, there's always a lot of downtime. So there were publicity photos taken, as well as a few visitors who came on the set, including a very young Tom Harmon, football player, and you can see the resemblance probably to his son, Mark Harmon. And here, Rita's first husband, Ed Judson, whom she would divorce soon thereafter, is seen picking her up at work after she did the dream sequence. Publicity photos also included candids of Rita in her dressing room. Here she is knitting. I don't think she did a lot of knitting in real life, but here she is doing it on set. Here she is on the phone, on the set as well. And here's a great photo of her with a huge arc light. Or she might be having a smoke and chatting with Fred. Or she might be with her stand-in, Ruth Peterson. Or she might be studying the script with Fred. Don't forget the many, many hours of wardrobe adjustment. She always did her part for the war effort as well. To go from that cute girl in braids to this smoldering vixen is a testament to the photographer Whitey Schaefer, as well as the fact that Rita Hayworth was probably the most beautiful woman in the world. This one is my personal favorite. She did get really tired of posing for photographs, but it's all in a day's work for a glamour girl. And of course, Astaire had to get in on the action as well, and there are some beautiful portraits of them together. Kind of looks like they're trying not to laugh on this one. And I saved my favorites for last, these two. Aren't they a stunning couple? Rita Hayworth's hairdresser said that Fred Astaire had a huge crush on Rita. He once gave her a beautiful jeweled pin of a Spanish dancer. He clearly was quite fond of her, although he never did publicly say that she was his favorite partner, even though it's written several times that he did, but he didn't. He may have said it in private, however. On a sad note, and especially unusual since Astaire was 20 years older than Rita, they died within a couple weeks of each other in 1987. For her part, Rita always said that her films with Astaire were the ones of which she was most proud, and she considered them the jewels of her career.